Ashley Theophane is an English professional boxer who competes in the light welterweight division. He was the British light welterweight champion, having won the title from Lenny Daws in February 2011. Professional boxing career. Early professional career. Theophane made his professional debut at the York Hall, London on June 3, 2003, defeating Lee Bedell. He beat an experienced journeyman, Brian Coleman, in his next fight on July 22, 2003, and won a further 5 contests throughout 2004, giving him a record of 7-0 at the end of the year. In his first fight of 2005 on March 26, Theophane suffered his first defeat to Jude Xmiyama at the Empire Theatre in Hackney, losing on points over 6 rounds. The rest of the year had mixed results, with 4 more wins, including 2 contests with journeyman David Keogh and a win each over Duncan Cottier and Jess Wally, but with another defeat, this time to Oscar Milcates on November 18, again on points, although this time over 4 rounds. In his first fight of 2006 and now boasting a record of 11-2, Theophane drew with Daniel Thorpe at the Excel Arena in London's Docklands. The rest of the year saw 6 more fights and 6 more wins, including 3 victories fighting away from home in Germany. The latter, a win on December 2 against Omar Siala, was for the lightly regarded Global Boxing Council welterweight title at the IFCO Arena in Berlin. At the end of the year, Theophane's record stood at February 1, 17, and on the verge of a challenge for the British title. Boxing abroad. On January 20, 2007, Theophane defeated Alan Bosworth in a British title eliminator at the Alexandra Palace in Wood Green, stopping him in the 7th round. The title opportunity was not to come, however, and Theophane travelled to St. Lucia for his next fight, a win over Marcos Hernandez on November 16, 10 months after his last contest with Bosworth. He finished the year with a return to the York Hall and a win over journeyman Rocky Muscas on December 1. On February 15, 2008, Theophane travelled to Connecticut in the United States and fought his toughest opponent to date, the Frenchman Ali Al-Bali. Despite having Al-Bali down in the 6th round, Theophane suffered his 3rd defeat on points over 10 rounds to a man who had previously contested both the French national title and the full European title at super featherweight. He returned to the York Hall on June 15, 2008, and returned to winning ways with a win over Jeffrey Municher, and then headed back to the US for what would prove to be a biggest win of his career so far. The fight in Rochester, New York on July 31, 2008 pitched Theophane against experienced former world champion DeMarcus Corley and ended in an 8-round decision win for the Londoner. Despite the victory, the year ended with Ashley once again fighting at the York Hall and beating journeyman Matt Scriven on December 6, finishing the year with a record of March 1, 23. Ashley's first fight of 2009 saw him beat former Commonwealth champion and European title challenger Craig Doherty at the York Hall, and this was following up on June 21 with a win over rookie Mark Douglas for what would be his only fight of the year. On February 26, 2010, he returned to the States and fought the undefeated Danny Garcia at the Don Haskins Convention Center in El Paso, Texas. The fight ended with a 4th career defeat for Theophane, and with Garcia extending his winning record to 16-0, although only by a split decision. On June 19, 2010, Theophane returned to Germany and to winning ways, picking up the title for good measure. The fight in Burghausen represented a first contest of 12 rounds for Theophane and returned a majority decision for the Londoner against Harash Hotaki from Afghanistan for the IBO International welterweight title. Theophane followed the victory up on July 30, 2010 with another fight in the States, this time in Oklahoma, and defeated the Dominican Republic's USBA welterweight title holder and former IBF world title challenger Delvin Rodriguez for another majority decision, this time over 10 rounds. On October 10, 2010, Theophane returned to England and scored a points victory over Willie Thompson in a show at the York Hall, winning 60-55 in a 6-round contest. Ashley would win the lightly regarded GBC World Welterweight title on December 28, 2012 in Luxembourg for the 2nd time. British champion. On February 19, 2011, Theophane won the British title at London's Wembley Arena. His opponent, the reigning champion Lenny Daws, was making the 3rd defence of the belt. Despite a slow start, Theophane came on strongly in the second half of the fight and knocked Daws down twice in the ninth round, eventually winning 115-111, 115-111 and 115-112 on the judges' scorecards. Prior to the fight with Daws, Theophane told how he had spent his time training between New York and London in sparring the likes of Dmitry Salator, Steve Williams and Liam Walsh. Speaking of his confidence in terms of winning the fight, Theophane said, "I feel like I am dropping down a couple of levels to face Daws, but his team bombarded me and my management with emails when I was in America trying to organize this fight, so Lita Euro unregistered trademark S get it on." On July 23, 2011, Theophane made the first defense of his title, beating Jason Cook at the Wembley Arena with a 10th round stoppage. Following the fight, Theophane signed a 3-year promotional deal with Hatton Promotions, with Ricky Hatton describing him as a world-class boxer. Theophane's second defense should have been against Nigel Wright and Peter Lee, but a late-notice pullout resulted in a change of opponent with only 2 days' notice, with Ben Murphy stepping in. The fight took place on December 10, 2011, with Theophane suffering a grueling opening assault only to break Murphy down in the later rounds to win with an 11th round stoppage. Training abroad. Ashley Theophane has been training abroad since August 2005. His love of boxing came from watching American boxing. Mike Tyson sparked that fire inside of him, and ever since then he has been focused on fighting and training in America. He has said many times how he finds British boxing boring. When British boxing closed its door to Ashley, America opened hers. He has trained and fought some of the best fighters in the world. Gleason's Gym in Brooklyn, New York City. Ashley is highly respected at Gleason's Gym in Brooklyn, which is the oldest gym in America. Some of the greatest fighters ever to lace up boxing gloves have walked through the doors of Gleason's Gym. Muhammad Ali, Mike Tyson, Larry Holmes, Roy Jones, Marvin Hagler, Carlos Monzon, Pernell Whitaker, Wilfred Benitez, Julio Cesar Chavez and Alexis Arguello have all trained at this gym. Ashley has sparred world champions Joan Guzman, Leo Rojas, Yuri Foreman, Paul Malignaggi, Argenis Mendes and countless world-ranked fighters at Gleason's. For his big fights, except his fight against former world champion DeMarcus Corley, he's had a training camp at Gleason's Gym. Mayweather Boxing Club in Las Vegas. Ashley first went to Las Vegas when preparing for his fight with Steve Williams. That fight never took place as Steve pulled out injured, but the 2 weeks he spent at the Mayweather Gym was such a great experience that Ashley went back a year later. Theophane trained alongside Floyd Mayweather and watched his intensive training sessions. Many sessions were closed to the public, but Ashley was taken under the wing of the Mayweather Promotions fighters as one of their own. Floyd Mayweather went on to outfox and outbox Robert Guerrero at the MGM Casino and Hotel in Las Vegas on May 4. Ashley was personally invited by Floyd and given 3 $1,500 tickets. He would return to London the day after the fight, but with Boxing Dead in the UK, Ashley headed back to Las Vegas. Not before a 2-week stop-off in New York City, as former world champion Luis Collazo had requested Ashley's services for sparring. Luis could easily have used a boxer from New York or someone from the States, but the high regard in what Ashley was held to aside, he was flown in from London, England. Ashley was offered a promotional deal from a New York-based promotional group, but he had a vision and Las Vegas was the place he felt his dreams could become reality. Ashley headed for Las Vegas after 2 weeks with Luis Collazo to train with and alongside the best coaches and boxers in the business. Floyd Mayweather, the richest sportsman and #1 boxer, was a fighter that respected Ashley's hard work, and Floyd was a fighter that inspired Ashley to be the best he could be. Professional boxing record. References